Let me read to you a passage from the 11th chapter of St. Matthew's Gospel, verses 25 to 30. It's the Gospel for the Feast of the Sacred Heart of Jesus, Year A. St. Matthew writes, "At that time Jesus said, I praise you, Father, Lord of heaven and earth, because you have hidden these things from the wise and learned, and revealed them to little children. Yes, Father, for this was your good pleasure. All things have been committed to me by my Father. No one knows the Son except the Father, and no one knows the Father except the Son, and those to whom the Son chooses to reveal him. Come to me, all you who are weary and burdened, and I will give you rest. Take my yoke upon you, and learn from me, for I am gentle and humble in heart, and you will find rest for your souls. For my yoke is easy, and my burden is light." That's from Matthew chapter 11, verses 25 to 30, for the Feast of the Sacred Heart of Jesus, Year A. What does this suggest to us? The Feast of the Sacred Heart of Jesus. Well, perhaps the most common topic of discussion among anthropologists, archaeologists, and historians of culture are religious artifacts. There are countless objects that have a religious meaning, and among them are depictions of the deities. In fact, it is scarcely possible to imagine Greek, Roman, Egyptian, Mesopotamian, and other classical civilizations without their portrayals of the deities. Setting aside the obvious question which occurred to the educated of classical times of the very reality of many such deities, the problem was that the objects depicting them were so easily regarded as the deities themselves. So it is that the revealed religion of Israel prohibited the portrayal of any so-called gods, including the one and only God of Israel, Yahweh. Though a portrayal of Yahweh would be the portrayal of the one true God, and not just a projection of the religious imagination, the danger remained that the portrayal itself could come to be worshipped, as if it itself were Yahweh. We read in the book of Exodus that, and I quote, "When the Lord had finished speaking to Moses on Mount Sinai, he gave him the 2 tablets of the commandments, the stone tablets inscribed by God's own finger." Chapter 31, verse 18. "But with Moses still up on the mountain, the people gathered around Aaron and asked that he, and I quote, make us a god who will become our leader." Chapter 32, verse 1. The god they intended was their creation, after the manner of the gods of Egypt. Accordingly, they made a molten calf, with the jewelry of their wives, sons, and daughters. Then they cried out, "This is your God, O Israel, who brought you out of the land of Egypt." Chapter 32, verse 4. They proceeded, with Aaron's connivance, to offer holocausts and peace offerings to the molten calf. Chapter 32, verse 6. It was a major apostasy and led to radical action by Moses when he returned. The point is that the banning of graven images was an abiding feature of the religion of Israel, while the use of images constituted a constant temptation. The grand temple of Jerusalem, which in the time of our Lord was a wonder of the world, contained no image of the God of Israel. This fact must have been a perplexity to the Gentile peoples. There were many features of the spiritual revolution which the leaders of the Jews came to see in Jesus Christ. The most serious was his plain assumption of equality with Yahweh God. There had never been anything like this, nothing remotely like it, in the history of the chosen people. Are you claiming to be greater than our father Abraham, who died, or the prophets who died? Was the obvious question. Before Abraham came to be, I am, Christ claimed in the presence of the leaders, at which they took up stones with which to stone him. John chapter 8 verse 52 to 59. A feature of this revolution was that the one God was now visible. In Jesus of Nazareth himself there was an image of the God of Israel. St. Paul writes that Jesus Christ is the image of the unseen God. Colossians chapter 1 verse 15. While all images of the God of Israel had long been and persistently banned so as to protect the faith of the chosen people, here before them all was one who claimed to be the authentic image of God. Indeed, he was God himself depicted before them. God willed to present himself visibly in his own unique image that was Jesus his Son. What this meant, of course, was that the image of God, which Jesus himself was, could be depicted in other images which portray him. The one true God could now be shown in images because he himself had given to mankind his own image, which was his only begotten Son made man. The Word made flesh was the divinely authenticated image of God given to mankind, the image of God which could and should be worshipped by man. Jesus Christ, the image of the unseen God, is the object of the Christian religion. This was one of the revolutions of Christ's new and definitive revelation, built on and fulfilling the revelation granted to the patriarchs and prophets of the old. God was now visible. God had shown his face, which could be seen and depicted. That face was Jesus Christ. And soon it was depicted, for we begin to see images of the Good Shepherd in early Christian art. In the Seventh Ecumenical Council at Nicaea of 787, the Church formally sanctioned the use of religious images as open books to remind us of God, who became visible as man. All of this brings us to the Feast of the Sacred Heart of Jesus. In this fully sanctioned devotion and liturgical celebration, the person of Jesus Christ is loved and adored under the aspect of his fully human and divine love for us. In Jesus Christ, God is revealed as having a heart of love. He is not distant, unconcerned, absent, or silent. He is full of overflowing and very human love. God is, we might say, to an overflowing and superabundant degree, humane. His very love is depicted in the common image of human love, which is the human heart. The Sacred Heart of Jesus Christ is the human heart of God incarnate. We venerate this image as depicting Jesus Christ, the living object of our religion, with his foremost feature highlighted, his love. Let us love him then.